I fell for my best friend's older brother. Every day he came to the grocery store to buy bottled water. I'd smile and tuck an extra pack of napkins into his bag, draw happy faces on the bottle caps, and ask how many emergency calls he'd handled that day. He never said more than necessary, until a story appeared on my phone screen, with comments reading, "The supporting character still thinks the male lead comes to buy water specifically to see her, he's literally just passing through. The male lead is attracted to the female lead's calm, reserved nature. The supporting character is way too talkative. The more eager she gets, the more irritating she becomes. She's making every wrong move. Just wait. If the supporting character keeps pestering him like this, she'll get completely ignored soon, and end up losing her job in shame. She deserves it for constantly shoving stuff in his bag, and scribbling those pointless drawings on bottle caps. The male lead has never looked at them once." I panicked and squeezed the napkins. I was about to slip into the bag back into my fist. The water bottle sat frozen in front of the barcode scanner. Daniel stood across the checkout counter, silent as a brick wall. He didn't ask, never asked. I slit the water over, my finger jerking back when it touched the bottle. $3. Daniel glanced at the bag. Usually by this point, there would already be an extra pack of napkins inside and a handwritten note saying, "Be careful out there today." Today it was empty. He said nothing, grabbed the bag, turned, and walked away. That dark blue uniform jacket pulled tight across his broad shoulders, his short hair perfectly trimmed at the nape of his neck. He pushed through this door's glass door just like every other day, no hesitation, no backward glance. As if whether I included napkins or not changed absolutely nothing in his universe. Lisa from the neighboring checkout lane wandered over. "Sophie, how come you didn't slip anything to your firefighter today?" "He's not my firefighter." I shut off my phone screen. "He's just buying water." Lisa wore that finally coming to your senses look, giving my shoulder a pat. "It's about time, a guy like that, standing there like an iceberg. You beam at him every day, and he doesn't even crack a smile. What's the point?" I remained silent. I stuffed my phone back in my pocket. The story page still lit up. The newest comment. "Hilarious how the supporting character draws happy faces on bottle caps every day, but the male lead just twists them off and tosses them. He's never even noticed there was anything drawn on them." The napkins in my palm grew damp with perspiration. I dropped them in the wastebasket beneath the register. That story had materialized on my phone this morning. I'd never installed this reading application, but there it sat on my home screen, an icon showing an open book. Clicking in revealed just one story with a cover titled, "His Passing Moment." No author listed. I hadn't planned to read it, but a notification appeared. "Your story has updated to chapter 4. Curiosity got the better of me. Opening the first page, my finger went rigid. The supporting character in the story was named Sophie, employed as a cashier at a chain grocery store. She harbored feelings for a firefighter, who purchased bottled water daily. The firefighter was called Daniel, tall, reserved, never engaged in conversation when making purchases. But Sophie didn't mind. She consistently added an extra pack of napkins to the bag, drew happy faces on bottle caps, occasionally even wrote small messages, and slipped them behind the water bottle labels. Identical to everything I did, every detail. The story featured a female lead named Claire, a volunteer residing in the apartment building adjacent to the fire station. Soft-spoken and tranquil personality. During their initial meeting, she and Daniel actually discussed her pet cat. Daniel willingly spoke 3 complete sentences. 3 sentences? I'd been pursuing him for 4 months, and my longest response was 2 words, "Not necessary." That occurred when I offered him a taste of my new smoothie. The story's comment section buzzed more than the actual narrative. The supporting character is excessively forward. The male lead clearly feels nothing for her. Check out chapter 3. The male lead's internal monologue is explicit. He considers Sophie overly chatty. Each water purchase forces him to endure her attention, only restraining himself out of respect for his sister. Maya, my best friend, Daniel's younger sister. Following their parents' divorce, Daniel relocated north with their father, while Maya remained in the city with their mother. The siblings adopted different surnames, and had minimal contact for more than a decade. 2 years ago, Daniel transferred to our local fire station and re-established contact with his sister. That's when he began frequenting this store for water. Maya had mentioned, my brother shops at your store. For water, treat him well. Naturally, I treated him well. I would have gladly handed him the entire establishment. But the story now revealed his sole reason for enduring me was Maya. Revisiting those memories, every moment felt different. My first encounter with Daniel happened when Maya pulled me along to tour the fire station. He stood beside the training area wearing a short-sleeved work shirt, muscles defined along his arms, a damp towel draped around his neck. Sunlight struck his profile, features sculpted like stone. I felt as though a scanner had read my barcode, that electronic beep embedding in my very core. Maya announced, Dan, this is Sophie I mentioned. Daniel looked at me once, only once, then he nodded and departed. 0 words spoken. Maya awkwardly made excuses. That's just Dan's way, he's not much of a talker. Don't read into it. I read everything into it. Absorbed it into the most profound depths of my heart. From that moment, I began tracking his store visits. Between 2 and 2:30 p.m., practically clockwork. At 1:50, I'd refresh my lip gloss, arrange my hair at the most flattering angle, position myself perfectly behind the register. He'd enter, select bottled water, approach my checkout. I'd say hi there, he'd nod. I'd say, how many emergency calls today? He'd respond 2 or 3, once during a particularly hectic day. He said 5. That constituted my entire allowance. Yet I continued anticipating 2 o'clock each day. Evenings in my studio apartment, I'd sit cross-legged on my bed browsing my phone. Daniel's conversation thread rested quietly in my message history. My most recent message dated back 3 days. I'd photographed fresh strawberries at the store. Dan, strawberries arrived today, incredibly sweet. Want some? His response, no. Scrolling backward, I'd taken a selfie near the water bottle section. Dan, check it out, your regular brand is discounted today. His reply, alright. Further back, me, Dan, our store's air conditioning failed today, unbearably hot. Is the fire station hot too? Daniel, manageable. Me, I spotted a stray kitten hiding under our store shelves today, tiny calico, absolutely adorable. Do you enjoy cats? Daniel responded 45 minutes later, no pets. Me, what do you enjoy then? That message received no response. Continuing upward, everything consisted of my lengthy messages, emoticons, audio clips. His responses never exceeded 1 or 2 words, with 3 words representing a monologue. Maya previously consoled me. Dan's always been that way, barely speaks at home either, don't assume he's singling you out. I earnestly inquired, does he communicate this minimally with you too? Maya considered, more or less, perhaps marginally more than with you. Marginally more. I couldn't even achieve his sister's level of interaction. The story comments updated again. The male lead and female lead's chemistry is adorable. He actually inquired about the female lead's cat's name. Remember when the supporting character asked about cats? He simply said no pets. He initiated the question. Ask someone else about their cat's name. I fixated on no pets extensively. Then I modified Daniel's contact information from Water Guy back to Daniel. Immediately after changing it, a new message appeared. Daniel, available tomorrow afternoon? I gazed at those words, bewildered. His first proactive contact with me. But now these 4 words felt painful to read. What did he need to discuss? Had Maya requested he handle me? Or had he finally reached his limit, and wanted to directly tell me to stop including items in his bag? My finger hovered over the keyboard for a long time, but I finally typed out a single line. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then I typed, me, what is it about? The reply came almost immediately. Daniel, just wanted to ask something. That wasn't helpful at all. I stared at the screen for a full minute. Then, me, okay. No emojis. No extra words. No nervous rambling. No sure. No what's up. Just okay. For the first time since I'd met him, I stopped trying. The next afternoon I wasn't waiting at register 3 when 2 o'clock rolled around. I switched shifts with Lisa. Instead, I hid in the stockroom pretending to organize canned soup. You're acting weird, Lisa said. I'm evolving. Into what? I don't know yet. She snorted. Well, your firefighter just walked in. My stomach immediately attempted to abandon ship. I gripped a box. Good for him. Lisa blinked. You aren't running out there? Nope. Are you sick? Possibly. She left looking deeply concerned. 5 minutes later she returned. Okay, now this is weird. What? He asked where you were. The soup can slipped from my hands. What? Lisa crossed her arms. Your iceberg asked where you were. My heart immediately launched into a full sprint. No, he didn't. He literally did. What exactly did he say? He put the water on the counter and asked, Sophie's not working today? I stared. My brain refused to process the information. The comments from the story flashed through my mind. The male lead finds her annoying. The male lead only tolerates her because of his sister. The male lead never notices anything she does. Then why had he asked? That evening another chapter of the story updated. I opened it immediately. The new chapter described Daniel meeting Claire outside her apartment building. They talked. He smiled. The comments exploded. See? The female lead brings out a completely different side of him. Meanwhile, the supporting character still thinks she has a chance. She's embarrassing herself. I kept scrolling. Then I froze. Near the bottom was a new comment. Wait. Why did the male lead ask where the supporting character was today? That's not in the original plot. Another replied. Probably because she suddenly stopped bothering him. People notice when routines disappear. Exactly. Like when your alarm clock stops working. Doesn't mean you missed the alarm. Thousands of likes. I closed the app. That explanation made perfect sense. And somehow hurt worse. 3 days passed. I stopped messaging Daniel. Stopped drawing faces on bottle caps. Stopped adding napkins. Stopped arranging my hair before 2 o'clock. The story updated every day. And every day the comments celebrated Claire and Daniel getting closer. Meanwhile, something strange started happening in real life. Daniel kept finding reasons to talk to me. Tiny reasons. Ridiculous reasons. One afternoon he held up a bottle. The discount ended. I stared. Yes. He nodded. Then continued standing there. Like he expected something. Eventually he left. The next day. Different brand. I looked at the bottle. They changed the packaging. I see. Again he lingered. Again he left. Lisa nearly climbed over the register afterward. He's trying to talk to you. No, he isn't. He absolutely is. Those weren't conversations. They were for him. I hated that she had a point. A week later Maya called me. Did you and my brother fight? I nearly choked on my drink. No. Then what's happening? What do you mean? He keeps asking about you. The cup slipped from my hand. What? Maya sounded equally confused. He asked if you were sick. What? He asked if you'd quit. What? And yesterday he asked if you were mad at him. I sat frozen on my couch. The room suddenly felt very quiet. Because none of that matched the story. Not even a little. That night the app updated again. The new chapter showed Claire and Daniel sharing coffee together. The comments were their usual mess. But one stood out. The plot feels off lately. Another answered. Yeah. The supporting character is acting differently than she did originally. A third replied. And the male lead is starting to deviate too. My pulse quickened. I kept reading. Almost like they're becoming different people. The next afternoon Daniel arrived at exactly 2 o'clock. I scanned his water. $3. He paid. Neither of us spoke. Then he suddenly reached into his pocket and placed something on the counter. A bottle cap. My bottle cap. The one with a badly drawn smiling face from nearly 3 months ago. I recognized the crooked marker line instantly. I stared at it. Then at him. The store vanished. The sound disappeared. Everything disappeared. You're supposed to throw those away, I whispered. Daniel looked down at the cap. His ears were slightly red. I kept them. My brain stopped functioning. What? The drawings. He cleared his throat. The notes too. I stared. Completely speechless. Because according to the story, He'd never noticed them. He'd never read them. He'd thrown them away. But Daniel slowly reached into his pocket again. And this time he pulled out a folded stack of paper. Napkins. Dozens of them. Every single extra napkin I'd slipped into his bags. Carefully flattened. Carefully saved. I didn't know how to respond, he said quietly. The grocery store around us suddenly felt too bright. Too loud. Too unreal. So I kept them. For the first time since meeting him, Daniel held my gaze. Directly. Steadily. And then he asked the question that shattered the story completely. Sophie. My heart nearly exploded. Would you have dinner with me tonight? Back in my pocket, the mysterious app vibrated. A new notification appeared. Error. Plot deviation detected. Main storyline unable to recover. Supporting character status changed. Recalculating. The notification kept flashing. Recalculating. Recalculating. Error. No valid outcome found. I stared at the screen. Then at Daniel. Then back at the screen. The app seemed just as confused as I was. Is that a yes? Daniel asked. His voice pulled me back to reality. The man who supposedly found me irritating was standing in front of me holding 3 months' worth of napkins like treasured keepsakes. I swallowed. Are you asking me on a date? His ears turned even redder. Yes. Behind me, Lisa made a noise that sounded suspiciously like someone being strangled. I didn't even need to look to know she was eavesdropping. I smiled despite myself. Then yes. For the first time ever, Daniel smiled. Actually smiled. Not a tiny twitch. Not a polite expression. A genuine smile. The entire store seemed to stop. A customer walked directly into a display of potato chips. Lisa nearly fainted. And my phone vibrated again. Critical error. Male lead has displayed smile to incorrect character. That evening I arrived at the restaurant 20 minutes early. Then spent 19 of those minutes wondering if I should leave. The story had spent weeks convincing me I was the embarrassing side character. Those insecurities didn't vanish overnight. When Daniel arrived, he immediately noticed. You're nervous. No. You are. No. You've twisted your napkin into a rope. I looked down. The poor napkin had indeed suffered greatly. Daniel looked almost amused. I don't bite. That's exactly what someone who bites people would say. A small laugh escaped him. A laugh. Not a smile. A laugh. The app immediately vibrated inside my purse. I refused to look at it. Dinner went surprisingly well. Mostly because Daniel wasn't actually silent. He was simply selective. When he didn't want to talk, he didn't. When he did, he could carry a conversation perfectly fine. The difference was that with me now he wanted to. By dessert I'd learned more about him than I had in 4 months. He liked hiking. He hated mushrooms. He secretly watched terrible reality television. And apparently he remembered almost everything I told him. You mentioned that. I blinked. When? The kitten. What kitten? The calico under the store shelves. I nearly dropped my fork. That was months ago. You sounded excited. His answer was so simple. So matter-of-fact. Like remembering things about me was natural. The comments in the story had insisted he'd never listened. Yet here he was recalling details I barely remembered mentioning myself. When I got home, the app was having a complete meltdown. Chapter updates were appearing every few minutes. Paragraphs rewrote themselves while I watched. Names changed. Scenes disappeared. Entire conversations vanished. The original Claire and Daniel storyline looked like someone had attacked it with scissors. Then a brand new chapter appeared. I opened it. The title read, Chapter 27. The story refuses to cooperate. I stared. The chapter itself contained only one sentence. The male lead insists he likes the wrong girl. The comments exploded. He can't do that. Yes, he can. Free will has entered the chat. This is the funniest novel I've ever read. I laughed so hard I nearly fell off my bed. Over the next month, things became stranger. Daniel and I officially started dating. The story became increasingly unstable. Characters refused to follow the script. Events changed. Entire plot lines disappeared. Even Claire seemed different. According to the original story, She was supposed to fall deeply in love with Daniel. Instead, she started dating a veterinarian named Mark. The comment section was in chaos. The female lead left the male lead. She said she likes dog people. The story is collapsing. Save the plot. Then one day I received another notification. This time it was different. The screen displayed a single message. Final update available. I opened it. A blank page appeared. Words slowly typed themselves across the screen. Dear Sophie, stories are predictions, not prisons. The moment people choose for themselves, every future changes. You were never a supporting character. You were simply living your own story. The page lingered for several seconds. Then the app vanished. Completely. The icon disappeared from my phone. The chapters disappeared. Everything disappeared as if it had never existed. 6 months later, I was standing behind the register when Daniel walked into the store. Just like always. Only this time he wasn't buying water. He walked straight to my checkout lane. Ignored every other register. Ignored every customer staring at him. And placed a small box on the counter. My heart stopped. Daniel. His ears immediately turned red again. Apparently that never changed. I had a speech prepared. Oh no. I forgot it. I laughed. Several customers were openly filming now. Lisa had abandoned her register entirely. Daniel took a deep breath. Then said the simplest thing imaginable. Sophie. Yes. You make every day better. My eyes immediately started burning. So I was hoping. He opened the box. You keep choosing me. The entire grocery store erupted before I could even answer. And somewhere, if that strange story still existed in some forgotten corner of the universe, I like to imagine the comment section finally updating one last time. Correction. She was never the supporting character after all.